This is not a test. This is your Alliance Tournament broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Alliance Tournament sanctioned by CCP Games. Modules of Meta Class 5 and lower have been authorized for use during the AT. All other modules are restricted. Winners from the last year have been granted direct access into AT bypassing the feeders. Commencing at the Serenes, AT teams need to fight to death for their place in AT. Concord, Cynos and reinforcement services will be unavailable during the matches. Placidby, CCP Games, Devs and New Eden, Immortal Capsuleers. May Bob be with you all.
Heroes have risen. Legends have been forged. Their names echoing through time. Their glory etched into the stars.
Doesn't appear to be. Come on, lad, take that time. They're still hammering away in the corners. What do you mean? Hey, oh, come on, Abaddon. Pull a hero on us. I'm looking for the hero. Target, hungry loaded. Who's one of
The arena awaits. This crucible of courage, ready to bear witness. Who will be cast down? And who will join the immortal dynasty? Let the battle begin.
New this year, each team that has applied to be part of the Alliance tournament has also had to nominate a spokesperson for their alliance, someone who's not necessarily on the team but is in the alliance, who can talk about the team, the alliance, and what they do. Of course, we are going to be seeing Brave Collective very soon in our next matchup. And as Mystical Might once put it takes a brave man to stand in front of a camera and talk about his alliance. So let us hand over to Brave Collective spokesperson Jinx the Care and see what he has to say.
I'm Jinx the Care, CEO and spokesperson for the Brave Collective. Brave lives in Nullsec and Quirius. Come by K7D and say hello. In Brave, we have people involved in all aspects of EVE. Nullsec, HighSec, wormholes, PvP, PvE, POCVin, industry, and more. Whether you're a brand new player looking to join up and learn the game, or a veteran who wants to up their fun per hour, there's a place for you in Brave. Brave has competed in the Alliance tournament since AT13. Our team is looking forward to meeting their training partners in the tournament. One battle to show off both teams' hard work. Good luck to our team and our opponents. Stay classy, have fun, be brave.
Leader of Volta and Firvina, who is in Brave. So I'm expecting to see some salt and maybe some tears. But let's take a look at the bans for this matchup. So Volta banning out the Arbitrator, the Crucifier, the Sentinel, and the Eos. And Brave banning out the Jackdaw, the Orthrus, the Molus, and the Keres. So a lot of small stuff, a lot of E-War, especially tracking disruption and getting disruption being banned out here. Bart, what else do you see from these bans?
The one that's really weird to me is getting rid of those damp frigates, because they're really not that useful anymore, in my opinion. The issue with them is that you're taking up a lot of points for frigates that can be countered by just getting closer to the opponent. The only way you can really use them is if you have ECM at the same time, or there's an old school drone damp meta, but it doesn't work as well anymore because you can't put 75 damps on the grid. So the Brave bans are a little weird. I get the Jack on Orthrus, getting real light missile ships, especially against Volta, who people think is going to kite a lot of times, and they are kind of known for bringing these like light missile kiting setups against teams they maybe not necessarily think they're way better than, but they kind of are. It's their way of disrespecting them. Is like, yeah, we'll just kite you. We'll kill you like we do on TQ. Volta bans pretty solid. I mean, it's you know, the really top tier teams don't like getting guidance disrupted, and EOSs are incredibly powerful in any armor setup. It's like, I mean, we've seen them in every single match so far, so, you know, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Misty, well, Bart was, I believe the term is yapping on about that. You had some disagreeing looks in your face there when he's talking about the frigates.
I think that the damp bans are an interesting reaction to the fact that they've then seen the initial Arbitrator, and was it the Crucifier ban initially?
Yep, Arbitrator and Crucifier.
So after seeing those bans, they're like, okay, Volta's trying to remove tracking disruptors or guidance disruptors, which implies that Volta will be wanting to maintain some form of range. Like Bart said, you could just get closer, but that's not always the easiest thing to do, and damps are a really good way of preventing you from being able to reach out and tackle something, especially if you bring something like Loki. If you damp it down, it won't be able to web at long range, which makes it very, very hard for the rest of your team to get on top of a target. So I think it's interesting that they've responded to these initial bans that would remove some form of range control, and they've responded with their own bans to make kiting more difficult. You're still going to have, you know, your Hugins, your Rapiers, your Lokis, if you want to bring those, but it'll be much harder for you to screen everything at once if you don't have that E-War on grid.
Yeah, I mean, Volta does love to bring a good old hyena as well. They're notorious hyena enjoyers, so that ship is still available. And I think I agree with you that the Mollusk and the Carriers, they're useful bans. I would have probably banned out more long-range webs, though. What do you think, Bart?
Yeah, I think that especially against a team like Volta, I like Hyena and then probably Hugin. I mean, you can't get rid of a Rapier and a Hugin and a Hyena at that point with only 2 bans, but at least Rapiers are significantly more killable than a Hugin is. That extra low slot is a big deal, especially in the Alliance tournament. I think that's because the issue is that if a good pilot is in a Hyena, they can shut down your entire ability to get anywhere. And so it's like, yeah, damps are good, but you still do have to get in range at some point, and if you have a good pilot that's like doing perfect range control, which we've seen before where somebody locks down like 5 ships by just cycling webs, it's rough. So like I said, I agree with what Misty said.
So
I think that these are kind of weird bans, and I don't know.
I need the missile disruptors both on the Nighthawk. I think we kill Cyclone Squalls or Cyclone fleets.
Swapping damps around onto different ships, and then all of a sudden your lock range is decreased, bang, your spill is gone, and that can be really impactful. Leshaks are very expensive points-wise. We don't see them super often, but when we do see them, they can be extremely effective, especially against other battleship-heavy comps where they can just spool endlessly. Any thoughts, Misty?
I believe that Brave is probably going to bring a rush, or something that they want to be super close. I think banning webs instead of the damps would make it harder for them to get on top of things. I think they probably benefit more from having webs on their team than Volta will have, you know, from having webs on their team, just due to the inherent range control that Volta's going to be going for in terms of positioning. I'm not sure about the Leshak. I think if I saw 3 tracking disrupted ships kind of like banned on the enemy team, the Leshak could be pretty good, but you might want to actually finish off that line and go for the Curse and go for the Pilgrim or something like that. So by leaving those 2 ships in, you still have the potential for tracking disruptors and tracking.
We need to battle ball well. We're putting like people who only have damage drones are putting them on the Scalpel, and we're using damage drones on our big ships.
What do you need?
Do you want rep bots out of the Curse and
I want rep bots, Curse. Yeah, let's do Pilgrim rep bots. Until at least we're about to get the Logi. I don't think we're killing the Logi. I think you're nuding them out of Warsaw.
Yep, heard.
And we're not nuding them as much. Like, we're nuding Hardeners to start.
Yep. Links.
Hawk with 2 Lokis, Fleet Cyclone, and some Cyclones, and a Scalpel Kieran Squalls. Now, isn't this an important match for us, isn't it?
Not on 10.
Ex-Coalition mates Brave and Volta back in B2 before Misty and Fraternity ruins that all for us. Unfortunately, he's on the desk, so we can't really get a
Go.
Go.
Brave and Volta, a lot of history on TQ over the last couple years, and we're seeing actually Volta doing the pullback towards MJD play off the start of the match. For the rush, not immediately going in. They're going to try to play and get on top of one of these Armageddon Navy issues and try not to be screened by this Mauler and this Vexer that Brave have brought.
a difficult game for Brave, I think. A lot of damage from the Volta team. I think a good play to go for the micro jump Deacon. But obviously Brave can position themselves to get out of that if they want to. Also, this is the first match today where we haven't seen armor. All the other matches today have had Geddons. And obviously Volta, my guys, bringing in some ham rush straight from the feeders, filling the same comp.
So the Pilgrim and the Curse, interestingly, we don't see any guidance disruptor going on to the WeForm Volta side quite yet. We'll see how that works. It's, you know, when you bring a Pilgrim and a Curse, most teams will bring a mix of guidance.
Yeah, we're like
in order to help against the enemy team. Also, those long-range newts on the Pilgrim and Curse, very, very nice to have if they're rushing directly into you. And we see Brave actually start to close the distance because they don't want to be 100 kilometers away from this MJD beacon that Volta are playing on.
Yeah, Volta right now literally getting ready to jump in a moment here, but obviously Brave realizing that, moving in, closing the distance. But I think this is the problem with doing these jumps. You have to get there quite quickly and position really fast. Otherwise, you're going to jump over jump.
Yeah, and of course, no flagships being brought in this one. Brave has a Balgorn flagship, so this
turning
tank not necessarily available from these battleships, and it's a lot of damage from this ham rush. We see the MJDs begin to spool for Volta as they
Brux is webbed by Loki.
Yeah, Shivala webbed by Loki.
We can start shooting now. What are we doing?
Okay, Cyclone.
Which one?
Shivala painted.
Cyclone? Shooting Cyclone.
Armor bots to Cheval.
Got Scram Cyclone.
Okay.
Armor bots to Cheval.
I'm scramming Pretorius for second.
Cyclone is ripping.
It's got
yeah. I'm heating. We're gonna run into clip problems.
Shivala seems to be
Are we
surviving.
getting Logi newts?
Zebediah
Going in now. Yep.
We got squalls next.
Zeus is taking some damage.
A module has run out of charges.
Okay.
Get precision on the Nighthawk.
Shivala
Just have the squalls, that's it.
needs to keep repping.
Yep, keep bots on Cheval.
All reps on
Pretorius.
Victoria? Go Victoria.
Shivala down.
Can you get Zebediah scram?
On these damages on the Geddons, don't they?
So Brave going for the damage efficient trades, taking out these squalls next instead of focusing on the Nighthawk and the Lokis. Meanwhile, the Curse of Bruxo Bentley getting some damage on top of him right now, although he is not currently tackled at all. The only people that are tackled are this Inquisitor of King Carnifex, who doesn't have anyone to rep him up, and Dujuk One Eye in the Navy Armageddon issue. As we see Praetorius in the squall go down, the next squall is Zapzin going down as well, and Brave is actually doing a really good job with the rapid heavies of taking down the low end of WeForm Volta.
Doing really well. Obviously, Volta now realizing, okay, Logifrig down, let's just go for the Armageddon Navy issue. They've figured out they can try and break the reps. I think this is the right play for Volta. They need to get the big ships down. If they waste any more time with the lower ends, they're going to lose. They're going to whittle down. You know, they're going to lose their ships, aren't they?
Yeah, so they've got, of course, 5 DPS ships currently up and available. Zhaojin in the squall, very low in shield at the moment, but the rapid heavy clips are on reload, so that squall has not gone down quite yet. Dujik One Eye currently sitting at about 1/4 armor remaining and doesn't have any reps. Now the rapid heavies have reloaded, and the squall goes down of Zapzin. They're going to go for Zebediah in the next squall as well, trying to get the DPS efficient trades off, but then they need to take off the Cyclone Fleet issue if they have any chance of winning this match. But Dujik One Eye and the Armageddon Navy issue now into structure. It's not looking good for Brave.
Super close to dying right now, and as soon as they get that Navy issue off, that's a lot of damage getting off and a lot of control gone off the grid for Brave. A big win for Volta, but the game is still not over. As a score goes down for Zebediah, the damage is coming out from the Volta team. I'm not really too sure what they're going to go for. They're going to go for the Inquisitor, I think, get him off quickly, get those reps away, but this is still a tight match.
Yeah, Brave on a Supreme Leader on the Cyclone Fleet issue. Now it's the next obvious target. When you're dealing with a rush setup, you want to go for, much like Dread Brawls, higher DPS over lower EHP is typically the more efficient way to do it in terms of damage, but in terms of points, that's not necessarily the thing. As we saw, the Squalls go off the grid after that Cyclone, and it makes for a really efficient trade for Brave, but they still only have Rapid Heavies on one boat, and the Logi is still alive for WeForm Volta. That said, Navy Armageddon neuting out the Scalpel and the Kieran, they're not repping anything at the moment.
No, and also Kane is doing a fantastic job wasting time right now. He's in structure, but he's still holding on. Volta now deciding to go for the Armageddon of NSIG, which I think is a good idea. They've got 5 minutes left and need to just whittle it down. The Inquisitor is basically out of the game at this point. He's really far away. He's nowhere near the Armageddon Navy issue. I think Volta need to get the damage down. They are holding, though. Supreme Leader Mao is sort of stabilizing, but he's dying a bit much. Planet 6 and No Pro in the Logifigs, really talented Logifig pilots. I'm sure they're trying to manage their cap as best as they can, I guess.
Yeah, under the heavy nuke pressure of a Navy Armageddon, 1 newt apiece. Obviously, there's still the Curse and the Pilgrim as well. Again, the fast cycle medium newts, I expect, are getting those newts out as well. Again, the Fleet Cyclone to not have any hardeners. We saw the reload come out.
Armor
Something
bots.
goes down, there will be no
dancing.
damage to threaten me.
I'm wrapping
So
him.
it'll
He's
be-
fine. Like keep them. If you have them
Yeah.
on me, keep them. Like he's going up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Maintain what we're doing. Maintain what we're doing. I'm getting towards the end of my Ansel charges, but we're going to kill the Cyclone fleet now. So I'm off reload, shooting the CFI. Once we kill the CFI, we're going to be going Nighthawk next. So if you've got spare new pressure that's not on the Scalpel and Kirin, we're going to start putting on the Nighthawk to turn his hardeners off. He is our next primary target.
Yep.
I have sticky scrimmed.
CFI is still dying here. Let's keep it up.
Run out, I think, for the Armageddon Navy issue. He might be dropping now, but obviously the Cyclone Fleet issue goes down. If he goes down, the DPS does drop a lot.
Well, the Inquisitor reps are out, but also Brave has a massive amount of rep bots on their team with this Curse and this Pilgrim, the Magus, the Pontifex, and the Vexor and the Mauler, all having rep bots onto this Navy Armageddon. If they can get this Fleet Cyclone, might be able to keep the Armageddon Navy for a little bit longer. 10% structure remaining on Ensign Leon. Supreme Leader still
he's
in
holding
armor.
on.
He's holding on for dear life right now. If Ensign Leon goes down, this match goes the way of Volta, and he's now into structure. Ensign Leon in the in the Armageddon Navy issue, now into half structure. They're trying to take down
Supreme Leader
Mao,
holding
but
on.
he's holding on for dear life. Volta with the rush into the Kingslayer of Brave are going to take this match. Armageddon Navy issue down, and that is all the DPS off the table for Brave Collective. A valiant effort from them, if I may say so myself, but unfortunately I'm going to have to take the big L that we saw Misty take on the desk earlier. See CCP Overload starting to run into the room with the casters, bringing the L for me to wear, but you know...
I think he's got. Here we go.
There we go. Thank you, Overload. But
oh dear.
But regardless, Brave Collective obviously didn't have a whole lot of scream for this Volta comp. They did a decent job of trying to shut down this Nighthawk early on, but unfortunately for them, they just ran out of steam and lost their Armageddon Navy issues. And congratulations.
I mean,
you white flag.
People use it as white flag, but also well fought.
I think at the beginning they were kind of not really too sure what to do here for their target calling, but they managed to get it back and get the win, which is good job, guys. By the way, hopefully they keep going forward. And obviously, Brave going to lose this bracket. I'll be playing later, I think. I think they will be playing later. So we'll see who they play next. I think is the loser of the next match. I think is who Brave play. Don't quote me on this, but it might be right.
Perhaps.
I think it is. Actually, right now, a bit of a clean-up right now. Supreme Leader Mao, obviously an absolute legend, holding on. That was a close shave. And also Kane. I'm going to give a big shout out to Kane. Holding on an Inquisitor on his own, burning away, wasting a lot of time. The Volta team did waste a lot of time on him.
I mean, he's ex-Blob. He's one of your guys originally, right?
Well, there we go. Got some good parts in there, haven't we? Bit of a clean-up right now, isn't it? For
Yeah, just a cleanup from Volta. They're chasing down, the Brave Collective side. These recons, obviously go off to the other side of the arena and do what they do from range, which is what the Pilgrim and the Magus and the Curse are good at. But now the Pilgrim goes down, Laden Redden ends up falling, and Volta getting the cleanup, not showing a whole lot that we haven't seen in feeders.
No.
Obviously bringing Nighthawk, dual Loki rush. Surprised that we haven't seen a whole lot of that in this tournament outside of feeders thus far, but. I'm interested to see if any of the other top teams are going to bring a comp like Rush that we've seen before and try to hide things moving forward in the tournament.
I think also some good fights in local right now. Everyone's saying what a great fight. Yeah, I completely agree.
Oh God! Oh no!
Survive!
Do it.
Keep going! Keep going!
I'm keeping the bots on here.
I honestly...
I'm gonna be the boy who lived.
I'd rather stick to what we practiced, because the opposite has been true every other time. If we'd brought the other stuff, they would have had medium guns, I'm sure.
To the end of the match, Brave Collective going down to the lower bracket, Volta moving on. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, the desk will break that down. We'll be right back after this.
Like last time I was outside. Yeah, that's amazing. All right. Next match, another elimination match. We have 2 more matches today. 2 more.
We do.
Both elimination matches. So more teams are going to go home and join Tempest in the garden party. This match is Whole Control versus Brave Collective. So let's take a look at the bans for Whole Control versus Brave Collective. Whole Control choosing to ban out the Loki, the Sleipnir, the Armageddon Navy issue, and the Crucifier. Meanwhile, Brave Collective banning out the Jackdaw, the Orthrus, the Hyena, and the Mollusk. Starfleet Commander, what do you make of these bans?
Well, Brave, obviously, earlier today, playing against Volta and brought 2 Ged Navy issues. So I would be interested to see if they bring those again. They've banned the Jackdaw, the Orthrus as well. The Hyena, really good, super good control frigate. We've seen that a lot today being used to web down battleships and keep them away. Obviously, Mollusk, again, getting the damps as well. I think Brave are signaling they might do the flagship. I think they might do it today.
All in, win or bin.
I think so, because if you're in this position right now, you just don't want to go. You need to do it to win.
This is your moment, right?
Yeah.
You got to send it.
And for Whole Control, they've banned Loki, Sleipnir, a bit good ships for those. Projection, Ham Rush is kind of targeted for a bit like that. Obviously, the Sleipnir is obviously not in Ham Rush, but the Loki definitely is a key part of a Ham Rush setup. And then Armageddon Navy. Well, then I don't think Brave are going to bring those, are they?
No, I don't think so. I think they'll be definitely. They could bring 1 if it's their flagship. Wigna, what do you think about these bans? Anything jumping out at you?
Exactly what he said there. Some of it's a bit reactionary, and it's going to be curious to see what Brave is doing. The other team, I'm not really sure, but Brave is going to like what's their plan here now?
30.
Some of the guys
Make it working 50.
Pray
Working
has a chance here.
I think Brave will do
I'm
well.
always
I
30.
think they've
Skybreaker 50.
Alright, Arcosis, you know the drill.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this.
We're so out, and then we're so back at the end. I was like, oh dearie me. But they were, I mean, Brave did really well, and I actually think they're actually quite a solid team.
Yeah, they are. They have been a solid team for a couple of years now. Like kind of a bit of a sleeper team.
Worm, Crow, Caracal Navy, Cyclone Fleet, Drake Navy, Osprey Navy.
For years they've had a very aggressively good team, basically, and I think it's just got better and better. So the fact that they really pushed Volta hard earlier on and
Stopped his heart for a few seconds.
Yeah.
I was on edge. I was like, no, Annie's got this. He brought it back, and I was like,
He was going through the 5 stages of grief, man. He was going through denial really aggressively.
I didn't want the L on my head. I didn't want to have that one.
Yeah. It's always fun watching these matches like live here in the studio when we have people from some of the alliances like sitting watching them get like 2 people getting like really like antsy that their team's going to win. It's just part of the fun thing about being here and doing these shows. You get to watch internet spaceships with a bunch of cool
like we have big guns. I think a big like Drake Navy must be the right call, right?
Yeah, it is. But we also don't want to be on top of them with our big guns, right?
I think he does.
No, of course.
So we
And
want to
it's-
split a little bit.
DNI over CFI to open?
They lost. Potentially lost. He was like, oh, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do Drake Navy, then CFI straight after.
If they go out with them, we still have great webs to kill an Osprey.
Straight to the top again.
Yeah, very happy, man. Wandering around now with these flags. So, all right, I think we're pretty much ready to go to the arena. So again, this is an elimination match. One of these teams will go home. We only have 31 teams remaining in Alliance Tournament 20. We're going to have to take that down to 29 before the end of the night. So we can crack on and do that. Brave are bringing their flagship Balgorn for this match. So let's head into the arena for Whole Control versus Brave Collective.
Welcome back to the arena. My name is Fearvana, joined by CCP Aurora, and with us on the right side we have Whole Control, who have brought Shield Rush. What have Brave Collective brought?
Brave Collective have brought their flagship Balgorn, as well as 2 Abaddons for a triple battleship core. Lots of lasers, very little, and moderate control.
Yeah, and we see Whole Control have made the grave mistake of warping their rush in at 0. Everyone except for their Osprey, who warped in at 50. Brave, though, with that flagship Balgorn, are going to try to string out this rush, and hopefully it works out better for them than it did versus Volta. Once again, flagship Balgorn. We'll see how well it goes this match. That said, this is a ham rush that doesn't have any command ships in it. We don't see a Nighthawk. We don't see a Claymore. We don't see a Loki or an Onyx or anything like that. So I'm interested to see how this works out up against the Brave comp. And as we see, the rush comes in from Teplis Kalsef immediately off the bat. The web's landing onto an Abba and a Mauler, but right now the Fleet Cyclone, and Navy Drake are all webbed down from Whole Control.
Yep, we can see that damage from the Whole Control side is going out onto Dujik One Eye, who is the captain in the Abaddon, as well as the second Abaddon. They're just trying to kill that core. Brave didn't quite manage. I think they might have came in a little bit too close. What they really needed to do was use that Balgorn with the bonus webs to hold this rush off, but that has not happened, and the rush is right on top of them, right where they don't want them to be.
Yeah, Brave primarying Jita, and the Drake Navy issue right now is Dujik One Eye is into half armor. Jita should be first blood of this match, but once again, that ABBA going down, not going to be a great start for Brave Collective. The Drake Navy issue falls, and now Brave in a little bit of trouble. Dujek One Eye currently sitting at about 1/3 armor, and they're onto the Cyclone Fleet issue of Devesta.
Yep, if they can get that Cyclone Fleet issue down, it looks like that Abaddon's holding, which is quite good. If that Abaddon can hold,
They're
they
onto
get
the Deacons
second.
now.
Going to the Deacons might be the right choice. They're probably it's probably a painful one. They've moved over because they didn't have the damage to break anything else. If they lose a Fleet Cyclone and a Navy Drake for...
Keeping bots back on Dujek.
That's on Shivala.
Yep.
Okay, we're doing Osprey Navy after.
You getting absolutely melted, and as we saw, even though Hull Control was able to get on top of one target, that target is an Abaddon.
Damage bone.
One of the tankiest ships you can bring in any sort of AT setup, and has the resist bonuses, and with the reactive, even though we don't have any damage block ships outside of these Navy Ospreys, can be really, really difficult to deal with for Hull Control without proper coordination. As we see, they're onto this next Fleet Cyclone as well, and Brave Collective, Dujek One Eye staying alive even with the one Deacon of Kane Carnifex down. This is the entire high end of Hull Control being traded for one ABBA.
And that Balgorn is nuding them out pretty effectively. That Fleet Cyclone, even though he was still alive and is no longer, wasn't doing a whole lot during that period. They've now only got their midline, which is not going to be enough, I think, to break. Maybe they can finish off this Abaddon, but it's looking pretty bad for Hull Control at this point. Brave has a dominating lead.
Yeah, Navy Osprey of Able 1, currently the primary from Brave Collective. Dujek One Eye and the ABBA now into structure, currently sitting at 66% structure remaining. It will be a Deacon and an ABBA for 2 Fleet Cyclones, a Navy Drake, and an Osprey Navy issue.
Shooting EC bots.
Continuing to live, but has already taken down one of those Osprey Navy issues, and Dujek One Eye still hasn't died. 5% structure remaining. Come on, you can maybe do it. No, the ABBA goes down, but he's traded almost the entirety of this Osprey Navy issue of Hump for it, and when that Osprey Navy issue goes down, it will just be the 2 CNIs for DPS from Hull Control.
The brave Deacon of Shivala doing absolute hero work to keep him alive as long as possible. Shivala has taken a little bit of damage, but at this point, maybe that last Deacon goes down, kind of a desperation play to remove what little repair Brave still has in the field. But I don't think Hull Control is going to be able to do anything about that Flag Balgorn, which is just going to be utterly oppressive to the few remaining medium missile cruisers. It's not looking too good for Hull Control at this point, certainly.
So we can talk a little bit more about this start of the match, I think. Right, you know, you see a Balgorn warping in behind the ABBAs, has these long-range webs, trying to whip down the Hull Control side before they get on top of the ABBA. They still did. Mm-hmm. What went wrong for Hull Control after they got on top of the Abaddon?
So they actually split their damage. So they were shooting both Abaddons at the same time. So they didn't manage to just like kill one target and move on to the second one. So there was a little bit of split damage going on here. They were probably also just kind of suffering under the oppression of that Balgorn. They did get where they wanted to be. So in this case, they got into the right position, but then just weren't able to execute, unfortunately. I think there might have been some slightly unclear target calling. Maybe they were hoping to punch through those Abaddons a little bit faster, but they failed to kill them. They moved on to the Deacons, and at that point the game was over, because once you have to start trying to kill those Deacons with your rush comp, your rush comp's not doing what a rush comp is supposed to do, which is to punch through the big ships and ignore those logistic frigates as you would hope.
And Brave Collective now finishing off this Osprey.
But loot. Loot the field.
Does anyone actually want to loot? I'll stop shooting the Osprey.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
You can't do that. It's a brave move.
No, we have to announce and
I've taken damage off him.
Okay.
Yep, I pulled down.
First, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, the desk will break that down and bring us to the next match. So we will be right back after this.
Oh, someone is repping him rude?
Yeah, rip him.
I have
Honestly,
spirits.
rip him. Keep him alive.
Oh, they cut away from you guys, by the way.
But they did.
Oh,
Yes, they
did
did.
Good
Oh,
luck
okay,
with
well.
that.
They're alive.
Oh, this person had 500 nanite.
I need my
Sending us home.
battleship
We
has
have photos.
150.
They're sending us home, but wait.
What?
The fuck?
Get my loot. My battleship.
All right, kill the Osprey before we leave.
He's
Bam.
Ah.
Yeah.
Control tried to go for the Baden, but it just took too long. Didn't it?
It's always the worst choice to go for a Baden first. It's like, even with a flag bow, the Baden is one of the tankiest things.
Yeah.
Yep. I find it interesting that I just had a quick check of the Twitch channel points. Most of them were voted for Hull Control. Hull Control were heavy favourites in that match.
They saw the word Brave newbies and went, oh, they're not going to win. They're new players. They're like, no, hold on, Brave's been around for a while. I think they kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think this kind of like highlights what we were talking about just before the match. Like, people kind of sleep on Brave sometimes. They think that it's Brave newbies. They can't be that good, right? They're just a bunch of newbies. But no, they are actually a solid tournament team.
Yep.
But we can't not. I mean, Hull Control's comp was good.
It was good.
Like,
They didn't do
solid,
poorly, but that's what a flag bow does, though, right?
It was well thought out. It was very coherent. They had all the 200 points, strong DPS, could definitely break through. I think if they brought if let's say Brave brought a T1 battleship other than the Abaddon, maybe they brought a Typhoon or something or some other temperature. I reckon they would have got through. It was just that the Baden is so tanky that they're just wasting so much time that Brave had enough time to get through and get the Balgorn newts to be effective, because as we know, the longer the game goes on, the more dangerous those become.
Yep, and of course, flagship Balgorn, super powerful ship. Like, there was a period of time where the flag Balgorn was basically the #1 choice. Then in Alliance
Freaking not bad, guys. Not bad.
Yeah, GG guys.
Well done, folks. Before anyone leaves, please, can we we're gonna put up a poll. It's for 14:30 tomorrow. We're being requested for a warm-up. We're doing the courtesy of checking immediately so we have a definite answer.
Because you have captain teams before. What is a flagship? Why is a flagship important, and what does it mean?
Well, actually, the flagship it's important for many reasons. Obviously, the #1 reason is that you can fit faction modules. Only certain faction modules, so webs, tank modules, and damage modules to be in particular. Not for the Balgorn. You can't do newts on the Balgorn, as in you can't fit faction newts on the Balgorn, so they still have to be T2. But we'll talk about the Balgorn. It's the web that